Hey guys, this is Camilo. Welcome to another episode of Shit Happens today on my YouTube channel. Every Friday, I'm going to talk about shit that happened in business, and today I'm going to talk about one of my worst evictions. What happened? Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome again back to the Cash Flow Talk Shit Happens episode. Every single Friday, I'm going to be talking the shit that happens in business, because if you're in business, you can relate to this. Shit happens most of the time. Everything is not as nice and easy and beautiful as people say every single day. No, shit happens. There's struggles, there's bad situations, there's bad moments. And I want to be able to share the bad and the ugly and what we learned from it. So today I'm going to talk about one of my worst evictions in one of my tenants in Miami, and what I learned from it and what you can take away from this. So if you like what you're hearing, please subscribe below, comment below, and let me know your thoughts on this. Guys, let me get straight to the point. I have a duplex in Miami where it was rented Section 8. This was about a year and a half ago. It was rented Section 8 to a tenant called, her name is Dion Lattimore. Guys, the situation was the following. Section 8 is a program that helps tenants when they have disabilities, or they have Social Security, or they can't work, or they have many kids, pay for the rent. So me as a landlord, I invest in properties, low income properties, and I rent them to Section 8. Basically, the government pays me every single month their tenant's rent. If you want more information, there's plenty of videos that talk about Section 8 on my YouTube channel. Check it out. But this tenant, Dion Lattimore, I was receiving 100% of her rent every single month for about a year and a half. Her kid, basically how it works is they're qualified to receive rent based on either a disability that they have or the amount of kids that they have. And they get qualified based on the kids that they have. They can qualify for the amount of bedrooms that they can get for property. This is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house in Miami. And so she was qualified for a good amount of rent. I was very, very happy receiving the rent in this property. And it was a newer construction. It was built in 1993. So long story short, guys, for her to keep qualifying for assistance program from the government, she needs to recertify herself and her family every single year. But unfortunately for her and for me, one of her kids turned 18, and once a kid turns 18, they're no longer helped by the government because they have an age good for them to start working and start producing and start helping with the economy in the property. That's one of the incentives. So what she did was she lied in her paperwork saying that her kid was that her kid was 16 and 17 years old, and instead they were 18 and he was turning 18. So her voucher got reduced 1 bedroom, and because they caught her committing fraud a couple times, they took her to court and they canceled her voucher. And what that means is that she's no longer qualified to receive assistance, but there's nothing I can do in the property. My contract is between me and her, and I accept a third-party company or government program to receive my rent in the property. Long story short, guys, she started receiving the assistance, so I filed her a 3-day notice because now she's responsible to pay for her rent. I filed for a 3-day notice. Obviously, she responded saying that she's going to try to make the payments, is going to try to resolve it, and the eviction got dragged for about a month and a half. Guys, long story short, I went to court. Judge approved the eviction because of non-payment for about a month and a half. So she was owing already 2 months. And I got a call from the sheriff saying, hey, your eviction has been approved. I'll see you at the property, for example, Tuesday at 9 in the morning. I can't remember. That was a few years ago. All right, fine, no problem. I meet the sheriff at the property at that specific time and date. And they knocked on the door. Usually by this time, tenants are already out of the property because they get a notification saying that if they're still in the property, they're going to be kicked out. And usually people with common sense, they understand what they're doing, so they would leave the property. She wouldn't leave, so the sheriff knocked on the door and they say, hey, you got 60 minutes to bring everything that you need for today, meaning medicine, meaning food and clothing, and get all the kids out of the house. If you need to shower, brush your teeth or whatever, do what you need to do to get them out. So I waited for an hour out there with the sheriffs, and once I received the keys of the properties, the sheriff gave me the writ of possession, meaning I have possession of the property. But by law, I have 24 hours I have to allow them 24 hours to find the truck or find a way for them to come back and take out their TVs and appliances and furniture, everything that they need inside the house. So I allowed her those 24 hours. I said, okay, no problem. I'll come back next day at 9 in the morning, and you have the entire day. But I have in my possession the writ of possession, which if anything were to happen and she doesn't leave by 24 hours, I can simply call 911 and kick them out because of trespassing in my premises, in my property. Long story short, guys, I come back the next day, and I find that they trashed the place. They took a bat, or I don't know what, a tool or whatever, a hammer, and they destroyed the toilets, the vanities, the kitchen cabinets, some tiles in the kitchen, and they cut some wires in the appliances, the power outlets. They basically created about a $4,500 to a $5,000 damage in the property, and it was horrible. So I called 911, and unfortunately, I don't know how this works, but there was no proof. There was nothing I could do in front of a judge to show that it was them who did the damage. Obviously, the police officers knew that it was them. I knew it was them, but there was no proof to show that it was them. And it could have been a squatter that, like, in their eyes, it could have been anybody else that broke into the property. Guys, long story short, last minute, the sheriff said, hey, don't you have insurance on this property? I said, yes, but do they cover for damages like this, like tenant damages? And I didn't know. So I called my insurance agent. I took some pictures. I took a picture and a copy of the writ of possession and the claim, because I made a claim with the police, a police report, and I submitted everything to my insurance company. And guys, long story short, I just said, okay, no problem, shit happens. Let's move forward. Let's get it renovated, because I need to get it re-rented as soon as possible. I spent the $4,500 to $5,000 into the renovations. And remember, I already lost 2 months of rent, and I already paid about $1,000 in court costs and attorney fees to get these people out of the house. Guys, fine, no problem. I just said, okay, fine. There goes my profit for probably the entire year. But all right, it is what it is. Let's move forward. And I submitted the claim. It was 2 or 3 months after this entire situation. The property was already renovated, already rented to another tenant. When I received the phone call, I remember I was in Denver, Colorado with my wife in a seminar, and I received the call, and it was an insurance agent, and he said, hey guys, your insurance claim has been accepted, and you're going to be receiving a check in the next couple days for the damage. Do you recall this property? Blah, 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 these and that. And I said, yes, of course, I remember it. Guys, long story short, I received the check for $11,000, and my entire cost in the property was like $7,000 or $8,000, because it was the $5,000 that I spent fixing up the property again. It was the 2 months that I did not receive my rent, and it was about $1,000 that I paid my attorney to do the eviction and the writ of possession and paying the sheriffs and everything. So I walked out with a profit. I walked out getting all my money back. I renovated the property with the insurance money. Guys, the lesson for the day is make sure if you have tenants, if you have properties that you're renting, you have proper insurance. That was a big lesson for me. Luckily, it ended up in a good way. I was ready, and I had already spent the money, and I was like, okay, fine, no problem. I make money on the next year on this property, because all my profit went down the drain on this property because of this situation. But it's part of being a business owner, and that's why I'm doing these shit happens episodes, is because part of being in business, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, is the balance at the end of the year. Did you make a profit or did you make a loss, and did you make a return on your investment? Guys, thank you for watching. This is again the episode of Shit Happens. This was one of my worst evictions and one of my worst situations that I've been in. And the reason why I'm doing again these Shit Happens episodes, I want to show it raw, show it real, what's going on, what's happening, but what I learned from this. Guys, subscribe below if you like these videos. Let me know what you're thinking, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye.